Hi friends, so Wimbledon 2021 is underway and today we are going to talk about Murray's return, Federer's form, Djokovic's dominance as well as Tsitsipas' shock exit. So let's begin. So let's start off with Djokovic's dominance. I think Djokovic, as we all know, has recently won the French Open title. He is looking for his 20th Grand Slam to tie up with Nadal and Federer, and I think he's looking pretty good right now. He's the clear favorite to win this tournament, and if we see the recent stats from the first two rounds, I think it shows his dominance clearly. He has served 34 aces already in two matches, so he's serving well. He has served 71% of first serves, which is again a healthy percentage. 86% points won on the first serve. And in his recent match against Anderson, he hit 25 winners and only 6 unforced errors. And if you see him from the baseline, I mean, where all the other players are struggling with these slippery courts. I'm not saying that Djokovic is not struggling, but if you see from the back of the court, he looks really, really comfortable from the baseline, and I think he's performing exceptionally well. So by far, he's looking the clear favorite to win this tournament. Nadal is not playing Wimbledon, Federer is out of form, and I think all the other players who are playing, I think if when we combine the aggression of all the other players, I think there is one factor, and that is Djokovic's return of serve. That is, going to go against everybody else because Djokovic, if he can return any serves, and Kevin Anderson, we all know, is such a good server. He has troubled Djokovic in the past at Wimbledon, but right now in the recent match, we have already seen that Djokovic was flawless in that match, and if he continues to do so, I think he'll be really hard to beat by anybody in the field. Let's now also talk about Murray's return. So we all know that Murray has been struggling with a lot of injuries. He had multiple surgeries and he has tried to come back a lot of times. Sometimes he wins a few matches in a row and it's not been easy for him. It's never easy for anybody to come back after an injury, and Murray is such a fighter. He's such a ultimate competitor. He has done so much in the past. He has won so much, and I think this is the best tournament for him to really make a run because the whole crowd support is with him as always at Wimbledon, and because he has won here recently twice, I think it really helps his confidence. And now that he has won two rounds, even though he struggled in his last match, but I think he played really well towards the end, and I think this is a good start for him after coming back from the injury. He's in the third round, and this is what we want to see. We want to see him, win a few matches in the bigger tournaments so that the confidence returns for him. And he has also hit more winners than both his opponents in round one and round two. So that's a good sign because usually we associate Murray with a strong baseline game, a strong defensive game. But right now, I think he's hitting a lot of winners too. So that's good for his health as well because he doesn't want to take that much chances with his fitness. So he has to be more aggressive. As we know that as the age progresses, we saw Federer, we saw Nadal, and even Djokovic to some extent now plays more aggressive tennis. And this is what I think Murray also needs to do if he needs to prolong his career. And this will actually help him because I always thought that the only weakness that Murray had in his game was that he was playing too much defensive tennis, especially if you see his matches against Djokovic at the Australian Open. I mean, he was comfortable in rallying with Djokovic, but sooner or later you could see in the tie breaks, Djokovic just had the edge and he was always able to win those sets, those close sets that lasted an hour or so. So I think Murray has to change his strategy a little bit and be more aggressive. I think he's playing well right now. He's serving well, and he also has a good return. And if you saw his matches, what a great lob he made in the final point of his last match. So the next round is against Shapovalov, and I think that will be a tricky match for Murray because Shapovalov is playing really well. It's a quick court. He serves well. He's a lefty, so again Murray needs to adjust his game a little bit, and he's aggressive as well. So I think this will be a tricky match, but I think Murray should perform well given that the last two matches have been good for him, and also the fact that the whole crowd will be in support of Murray. So it should be an interesting match. I think it will go the distance. It can go 4 sets or 5 sets. I cannot guarantee that Murray will win the match, but still that will be an interesting match to see. The atmosphere will be very, very nice. Now let's talk about Federer's form for a moment. And To be honest, I was really surprised to see Federer's form in the first round. Given that I mean, it's obviously we know that he's coming back from after a long break, and he hasn't had that much match practice. But still, some of the errors that he made in the first round clearly showed the lack of confidence and timing in his game. And I think his serve was the only thing that kept him alive in the tournament in that match, even. And he himself admitted that he got lucky because Manarino played a better match. He was the better player throughout the match, but towards the end he got injured and we could not have the final set. So I think Federer really needs to improve his game, his timing from the baseline, because if you saw that match, he made a lot of unforced errors, like 45 unforced errors, which is too much for his caliber. And also from the baseline, he was struggling. We saw in the tiebreak as well, he was missing a lot of shots. Once he missed the forehands, then also the backhands. The timing was not there, so making too many enforced errors at the crucial moments. So I think he needs to really improve it. Now, the only positive for him right now is that the next round is against Gasquet. So Federer has a really, really good record against Gasquet, and Gasquet is a sort of player actually which Federer would like to play against, because he is not that aggressive from the baseline. He gets set up and then hits his shot, which actually provides Federer much more time to also get set and adjust to the conditions, because the conditions are really quick. It's the first week, so the grass is also quite thick at Wimbledon. It's a bit slippery as well, so it's not easy condition for anybody to play on this surface right now. It's really fast and it's really going to help the big servers, especially in the first week. So I think Federer would be happy to see Gasquet as his opponent, because his first round was definitely a player who was playing really aggressive. Manarino, he was serving well. He's a lefty. Federer again had to adjust his game, and then he was playing a really smooth and quick tennis. So Federer did not have too much time to adjust. And I think against Gasquet this will not be the case. So we hope that Federer should win that match. But I think his road to the second week will be really difficult based on his current form. He's not playing that well, to be honest, and I think he really needs to step it up from here to have any chances to go in the second week. We know that he can do it, but let's see what happens.